All right, it's Delver. Scalding Tarn to start the game for Roland. There's a volcanic island.
Yeah. The tutoring ability of that deck for D&T was
So many cards pick up the deck.
it's just completely unmatched.
It's similar to
So now,
every single card puts your deck in your
just so everybody's aware, this is what everybody comes here for. This is why everybody watches this channel. Roland versus Force of Phil. Roland Chang versus Force of Phil. This is what it's all about, everybody. Main event. Roland with his Rolex watch. I don't know much about watches, but I know a lot of people like Roland's watches. Here's Dragon's Rage Channeler. A fetch and response, it seems. Getting an island from hand. Wait, what just happened? Oh, this must be a main phase play. Okay. And a daze to protect. Phil can pay the 1 currently, putting Brainstorm into the graveyard. Phil pays 1. And another daze. Island into the graveyard. Prismatic Ending is countered. And we're passing the turn. I got tripped up a little bit there. I wasn't sure whose turn it was. Brainstorm, Surveil trigger. Puts Polluted Delta into the graveyard. Must be another fetch in hand. Two back on top. I don't know if Roland has Delirium currently, but I guess we'll find out.
Play a land, so I'll swing at you. Go ahead.
Exile? Yes.
Cards?
I have 5 cards.
Fine.
Counterbalance on the board. Swords on Dragon's Rage Channeler.
Well, Suga. Let's go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm probably going to regret this.
Oh, yeah. Suga was off, yeah.
Actually, no. Let's take
Missing a creature, right?
Yeah, still missing a creature.
Another Rebel Master?
Always.
Yeah, another Rebel Master.
Wasting the Tundra. Attack it for 1.
And pass it.
Source of Plowshares.
I'll attempt to go get them.
It fired off, and
Good.
Dragon's Rage Channeler is gone. There's a Ponder. Counterbalance revealed on top of the library.
Blood Pressure.
3 cards?
I have 3 cards.
Go to my attack step. I get 3 more tokens. So he's summoning 6. Everybody else has to attack. So these attack, these attack.
69% favorite for Roland, says Twitch chat.
I'll pass. Didn't target myself.
And
So when it gets it, you can
Predict going to dump that extra counterbalance into the graveyard, draw 2 cards. Very nice. That's where Predict really shines.
Oh my god.
Brainstorm.
Jace the Mind Sculptor. Bolted in response to its Brainstorm activation, and another Jace revealed on top. Second time Counterbalance has revealed a redundant card on the top of the library, but this time Phil welcomes it.
Good.
It's a backup Jace in hand. Expressive Iteration.
So 3 of the 1/1s die, these trade, and these all die.
Misty Rainforest into exile.
Does that give +X +X or +X +L?
No, plus X plus L.
I'll pass.
Magic Man, thanks for the follow.
And
Welcome.
that is all I have.
And another Jace.
Good immersion.
Activating it to Brainstorm. Force of Phil in the chat says, I should have known that the way Roland climbs back from this position was an expressive iteration, and I had a 2 to leave on top if I had thought harder about it. Makes sense. Another expressive iteration. Mystic Sanctuary fetched in response. And we're going to see a Predict most likely get put back on top. Oops. Ooh, big violation there. Good thing a judge was not watching this match. That would have been a game loss. Dropping the deck like that. Predict goes back on top. Countering expressive iteration. Playing around counterbalance is tough, but even more tough when you have an opponent able to fetch Mystic Sanctuaries to put the correct number back on top. It's tough. It's tough to keep track of everything. Searcher as Kanta comes down here.
Pass you.
So Jace as Kanta, counterbalance, all on the board for Phil now. Roland with just lands currently.
What was?
Jace is in range of a bolt.
Brainstormed with Jace.
A brainstorm with Jace? And now I'm playing this? Okay. Now I'm passing turn. Good.
Murktide. Not going to see a counterbalance trigger handle that, but it looks like Phil has Thwart. It would be an 8/8 Murktide. Let's see what the response is. No response. Let's it resolve.
That's good. Yeah. Sorry, my fault.
Volcanic Island and fetching, getting another Volcanic Island.
Did you catch my left?
Yeah, I got you.
I'm just playing another Murktide.
And another Murktide, says Roland. All right, so 2 8/8 Murktides on the board now. Jace can bounce one potentially.
I have
I guess this or does this trigger?
Yeah, this will go get bigger as this one exiled stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever it exiled.
So one of them is now going to be a 13/13.
These triggers can resolve. I'm going to respond to this.
Sure.
Predict target myself.
Sure.
Swords.
Predict putting swords into the graveyard.
You're okay with spinning as swords?
Then I'll crack this.
Yeah.
Go to 15.
Roland kind of laughing at putting swords into the trash is not a good sign. Mystic Sanctuary.
Yeah. Okay. That's the key.
All right, Roland packs it up. fill up a game here.
Get fell behind way too fast.
Yeah.
Just the amount of card quality that you get to see is kind of cool.
Compared to the rest of the other decks in the format, yeah.
Turn 1 Ponder for Roland here in game 2. Dragon Rage Channeler pass. Tundra into Ponder.
That's fine.
There's no other feature, but it's got some.
Good.
Expressive Iteration Serval trigger.
Scroll trigger result. This result.
Puts a Channeler into the graveyard and Expressive will resolve. Brainstorm into exile. Plays a Scalding Tarn, fetches it. I think we're going to see this Brainstorm fired off, get some value.
So I wasn't sure if, because I played when I got the emissary, but I wasn't sure if I played the
You have Delirium now, right? It's a sorcery.
Yeah, there's only.
Oh, you're missing it? Oh, yeah, this will give it to you. Yeah. You're good.
Surveil happening first. Thinking about Surveil. I didn't get to see what the card was. Must be something good. Lightning Bolt into the graveyard. Okay. Lightning Bolt's a neat way to deal with Jace, potentially. Or Narset. Teferi, potentially. Monastery Mentor. I could understand there being a little bit of hesitation for Lightning Bolt getting thrown away. Dragon's Rage Channeler now a 3/3 with Delirium. Creature, land, instant sorcery. Volcanic Island gets found here by Force of Fill. Counterbalance. Here's Ponder. Daze in the Ponder, Surveil trigger. Counterbalance trigger on the stack reveals Flooded Strand.
Good.
Power Blast on counterbalance. It'll resolve, putting another lightning bolt into the graveyard. Volcanic Island. Maybe a Murktide here. No's Flooded Strand is on top, so no Terminus at the moment. Okay, an Expressive Iteration. Serval. Puts another Dragon's Rage Channeler into the graveyard. Surgical goes into exile. Interesting. Is there anything worth surgicaling in the graveyard? Ponder, Scalding Tarn, and Counterbalance are the only options. Alright, Counterbalance getting surgical. Hand revealed now for Phil. Ponder, Jace, Flooded Strand, Red Blast.
Is it only 3 in here?
I should have 4.
Yep. Beautiful 4. Yep. Which is pretty good. Alright. Those are FG.
So I'm working on getting
Dragon's Rage Channeler gets in an attack. Ponder. Former Hype Train Conductor Poing is here jamming emotes. What's up, Poing? Prismatic Ending now on Dragon's Rage Channeler. Will Roland allow it? I don't know. Resolves.
because they're leaning way into the like temple card. It just happens to happen. Like my options. I don't love that, but I did. I played up to the Good Day Mirror with that group.
Murktide.
And then I ordered out one days leading to that with all rituals like I'm talking sure. Playing this card. Yeah, now they're and they don't really run creatures. No. It's actually the same guy.
8/8 Murktide looks like.
Like 2 weeks apart. Randomly turned into I think he's playing myself.
There's a Scalding Tarn and a Ponder.
4?
This Murktide's going to hit pretty hard. 2 hits. Ends the game, but I have a feeling Phil will find a way to blow it up. He had a Red Blast in hand. Oh yeah, there's still a Red Blast in hand, isn't there? There also was a Jace, which can bounce, which is somewhat effective. Alright, there's a Source of Plowshares in hand now, looks like. Untap and upkeep Swords of Plowshares.
Land card, the basic land type, just double check this says play, so I'm not playing.
Murktide gone.
It's exile. You gain 8. 8, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay.
Good.
I'm done.
Misty Rainforest. There it is, the namesake of the deck. Delver of Secrets.
To resolve, like, didn't seem like he was running to like 94
That's true.
They played against Elves in the semifinals, and like,
Red Blast on the Delver now.
You can cast it off so 4 of them are coming.
Is that a draw pass?
Yes, 4 of them are
I
coming.
mean, like, it's just
Go.
it's one of those.
Your turn. Yep.
Right away. If one just starts spell gets you there.
Is there 3 trees?
Yes. Yeah, you're good. I didn't fucking paper. Hey, you drew it for a really awful
And stuff.
Oh yeah.
Aggressive Iteration back on top. Pretty good card. Likely getting cast here, I would assume. Unless Roland finds something better to do.
So it's because you just want to go
There it is.
against Delver against another combo. You just want this card out. The only issue
I'll make this into a force.
Yes. Well, that's like one thing I do with this version. It's not the stone designate, it's slower.
Passing through.
Now, I have a
Go.
it's not that hard to master.
Trigger.
Oh, no, and plus I play.
Yes, before you draw.
Great because it doesn't become armor.
Pyroblast on upkeep.
Predict. Target you.
And a predict targeting Roland now. And we're going to see Days likely get named here. Easy way to draw 2. Pyroblast on the predict.
Yeah, me neither, really, but just because it's a ley line, it's different.
Go ahead.
Green, white, value, you know, you're gonna get 11 of them? Now, all the
Mystic Sanctuary puts Ponder back on top.
But they're still gonna pull the grass and then, counter the wrath of the
Brainstorm.
great sword and,
I'm sorry? What's the +1? Turn anything into an artifact. With with power toughness. Oh no, I'm sorry. Turn anything into a creature with an artifact. With power toughness equal to its casting spell.
playing its role in.
Not creature, permanent.
I had a big play that. Great night was a little. I failed it and another force.
Don't worry, guys, I can't rest
So I'm like up to 7
Anyways, sure. I will block 3 of them. You guys?
They always have. I'm gonna use another version of the
I guess if you're
it's a little bit slower, but
Well,
it's
check
not
out-
as fast with the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
There's like 2 things that really suck.
That's fine.
Yeah, so splash.
No,
So you have Zoom, you have
Mystical Tutors, yeah.
you're not grabbing your register. So you're not.
Lots of cantripping happening. Exciting.
Oh yeah, sorry. I mean, it's like a slower, but and also too, a lot of decks are just like stone dead to.
There's always that.
I also have 4.
Lots of laughing in the background. We got to do something about that. Ponder for Force of Fill. Right off the top of the deck. I think the last card in hand for Phil is Jace, right? Is it Jace, chat? I can't remember now. Passing the turn. Tapping 2 for expressive iteration. Expressive iteration looking so good. Dragon's Rage Channeler into exile. Yeah, that was Eddie the intern laughing in the background, and that will be addressed at the next event. Everybody need not worry. Eddie the intern will be scolded for laughing. Flooded Strand coming down. Passing the turn now with Dragon's Rage Channeler back onto the battlefield.
Prismatic and hands up.
Prismatic ending on Dragon's Rage Channeler. 2 cards in hand for Phil. Force pitching Daze to protect Dragon's Rage Channeler. All right. Surveil trigger. Leave it on top. It's been quite a match. Phil fetching. Getting a Tundra. And I missed what? Hardcast Force. And a Daze from Roland. Protects the Dragon's Rage Channeler yet again. Attacking for 3 now with Delirium. Mystic Sanctuary. Maybe putting Pyroblast on top? Let's see. Expressive Iteration back on top. Force of Phil says this play was so sick to lean on a heavy Daze hand, pitching the first Daze to walk me into a second, since I don't want to give up my Jace to Mind Sculptor. Yes. Well played by Roland.
Oh yeah, because I know Chasm, like,
Murktide coming down here. Looks like it's going to be full size. Here's the Jace. Pyroblast, and that ends the game. Going to game 3.
You want to play Control for like Prisma?
All right, it's been quite a battle.
One card a turn.
Sure.
So if I pop all the zombies, that should give me.
Mechanic Island pass.
Yeah, but then like I kept the fetch for when I was
And Volcanic Island pass. And Volcanic Island pass. Let's see how long we can keep that going. Oh, Misty Rainforest. Delver. Brainstorm in response.
Yeah, so I was like, crap, he's gonna play Blood Moon on me, and I'm just gonna lose like in game 2. I was just like, this is a dangerous move because he's on Blood Moon.
you guys are done. Yeah, how do you like the mulch guy?
This is the first time I played it.
Oh yeah.
Brainstorm into the graveyard. And Pyroblast on Delver.
I've been playing mainly online, and I finished the Bearded Dragon.
Now passing the turn.
I loved it, the Bearded Dragon, because everyone's playing 8 rounds. Then,
Looks like a Predict was pulled to the front there for Phil.
and I was gonna bring it. They had some bigger former recently, but I didn't know. I was gonna bring it there, but I was grinding because they had big. Former.
Fetching and in response Predict.
Source blast.
Trying to get rushed back.
Source of Plowshares. Drawing 2.
I was grinding with that.
And then the fetch resolves.
Online until getting ready for the second
Preventing a hard cast daze, I guess.
Because on the leagues, like when I'm grinding for leagues, like to get practice, I'm playing like all random decks.
Yeah.
And then like it just wasn't like firing with cylinders.
Expressive iteration.
How is it against
It'll resolve.
control?
That's where I wanted the most.
Flooded Strand into exile.
That is best against the control decks. And so I was like, I'm losing.
You haven't played a land yet.
control.
I haven't played.
Let me shift the field to
For some
decks.
reason I thought
That'll cover my 8 cast. That'll cover my blue red
I am on a play, right? Oh no.
Yeah.
And then
You're on the draw.
the
I
best
missed the land drop.
all this prismatic ending, blue
I
control
gotta
decks because they keep
play
on
a
converting
dragon
my
trade.
cards.
You got it.
I'll pass after that.
Yeah.
Oh, did Phil miss a land drop?
Have these, like, Urza Saga gets for the-
I missed it.
Like, let me move the field to that.
Yeah.
And
Here's
it's
counterbalance.
control decks, until like what's gets annoying is you get to a point sometimes where you stabilize and I realize I lose the days.
Seems like it's resolving.
To like wipe it, and if I don't top deck a land, it like, or if I don't top deck like a mulch, it just like I'm just then they like start to set up with like a mentor, or they get like the shark typhoon going, or whatever their closure is, and they actually like actually outspeed my field. And I know
Ooh.
and also just like random
Surveil resolves, but counterbalance counters the ponder. Non-active player resolves first.
So that was the thing. Round one, I was against.
Did Phil take the draw? I don't believe so. I remember Volcanic Island coming down first for Phil, I thought.
the guy, the other guy.
That's the new thing for control, where they just like play with fairy
When did that card come out?
and
It's a kid.
rock.
YouTube comments will let us know. Power Blast on counterbalance happening here in draw step, it looks like. Surveil trigger on the stack, resolving. Terminus revealed. Uro is fine, says Phil miss land drop. Hydroblast now on Pyroblast to protect counterbalance.
For that matchup, I'm like, crap. Like,
And a Pyroblast on that.
control deck, but it's now a combo deck too.
Alright.
Yeah, it just turns the corner. I mean, that's the thing I feel like lands we don't have. Right?
Terminus drawn for turn, not very good though.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to
Sorry, I
hit.
forgot that was in my draw step.
Turn the corner.
Oh. Card was already drawn for turn, I see.
Find like
That was in draw step.
feel the dead as it turns the corner, but you don't have enough time to set up. I feel like with the mulch decks. Yeah. Because you don't have as much like manipulation. Like yeah, I feel like I'm mulching to get like mana mulch.
Mystic Sanctuary puts Hydroblast on top. Ponder.
Praying to God, mulch. If it's not like my moment's mulch, I'm praying it digs me into a hole. You know what I mean? Like I'm praying it bends alone. And but like it's such a hard pray. You know, if you're calling, I'm like I feel like I'm playing mana. I feel like I'm playing Dredge and Vintage. I'm like Serum powering for like 2 cards. You know, I'm like. Whoa.
And here's Hydroblast.
Declaration or mana bomb to play. I don't know. I'm just like, it's right stuck in my hand, so I'm like,
Yeah.
why did you switch to a version that plays some white mana for the Hall?
Paul Helion?
Yeah.
I thought about that because then at least if you're dumping all your enchantments, you can start bringing them back. Then you can start getting some enchantments just weird.
Mystic Sanctuary. Expressive Iteration going back on top of the library for Roland.
You just like play some of the. You put like a lot of overlap with enchantress cards back in the day. Remember Sarah Sanctum? Because your land deck, you get ramped
There
up
it
all that
is.
white into like
That's what
those weird ass
Most of
artifacts.
like
I mean,
Sterling Grove, which randomly like hits you whatever enchantment you need.
Yeah.
And then you can have silver bullets in the sideboard that you can actually find.
Yeah. I was thinking about playing around. Some guys on this were more creative. The problem is like, I can't play limited. I'm like the worst deck builder. Like I'm like horrendous. Like they
Dude, I
just
can't
can't.
evaluate cards to save my life.
Yeah.
I know like
Yeah.
what the cards do. Like I
Yeah, Phil is currently missing a white source, pointing that out in the Twitch chat.
Like if you look at like, it's so crazy. Like my MTG rating, it's like
It's a bit rough.
1600-ish for like constructed. It's like 1300 for blow it up.
Here's the Delver.
But yeah, and I'm so used to Delver that like I need that bullet.
And Expressive Iteration.
Oh, I forgot.
Which gets Pyroblasted. Daze protects it.
Yeah, there's like this
Daze has been good in this match.
real deck that I've
Okay. Yeah.
put together for this.
Yeah.
There's Flooded Strand.
And, I guess this is what I'm working because there's a new legend from that.
Mystic Sanctuary, put Expressive Iteration on top. Leave the Flooded Strand in exile.
Yeah, because you fetch this in your instant, right?
Okay.
So with enters, you get to choose what permanents you want to exile, and you make a 1/1 for each one you exile.
Okay. So you're just choosing now like everything.
So you just choose to animate that on.
Jace the Mind Sculptor gets forced pitching force.
So it's a World Gorger, but you don't exile your entire board.
Yeah.
Delver
Click
flips.
through with a fucking logo.
Well, yeah.
Expressive Iteration cast here.
Put that together because that's what I
You know-
started on this
you know-
board here.
Yeah. You know what I was fucking around with that's like shrieky like
Wasteland
that?
into
like,
Exile.
Dave Monster? I was playing Reality Scramble with one progenitor because sometimes they would lock down like all my shit. Like I can't push through zombies.
Okay.
So I had to find a way to go over the top for those blue control decks. Because what happens is you get into those stalemates where like sharks tokens are fighting zombie tokens and you're just like, you can't run through.
Yeah.
So that was what match I was facing last. So I'd reality scramble a zombie token, and it searches your deck until you match a card type, but I have no creatures in my deck. So that was like my thing.
Wasteland on Volcanic, attacking for 3.
4 mana.
Dr. Jacoby, thanks for the reset with Prime. 2 months for Dr. Jacoby. Thanks for the content. You're welcome. Thank you for being here, and thanks for the sub. Appreciate that. Just started a new month. Get those Amazon Prime free Twitch subs out there. All right. Delver number 2 comes down.
So you can keep making your zombies if you get the
So like if that's my graveyard, I can just like pay 8, return 8 lands.
Yeah.
Play 8 lands.
And Tundra.
You know?
Prismatic Ending. Takes care of the Insectile Aberration. Delver flips, revealing a Bolt. Uh-oh. Attacking for 3.
It's been a long time since
And
I
bolt you.
didn't find any white mana in my blue-eye deck.
Wow, no white mana. And sword stuck in hand.